What's up guys, this is the Honest Outlaw here, and we're on the range today with a few rifles. I want to do a quick comparison. I want to talk about the old 80s, early 70s version, maybe even late 60s version of the AR-15 M16 type rifle. Now this is an M16 clone, it's a DPMS AR-15, so it's pretty much an M16 in every way except for the fun switch. It doesn't have full auto. All AR-15s, or almost all of them sold in the United States, are all semi-automatic, so dispel that myth right now. And the rifle I want to compare it to is another AR-15 semi-automatic, but it is the most tactical, most modern rifle that I have. This one's actually an 11.5 inch SBR, so you have to get a federal tax stamp to get this, although you can get a rifle just like this with an AR pistol. But this is going to kind of take the place of, you know, a 16 inch rifle that you'd see today, except this one is the most, again, tactical, crazy setup that I personally have, and it's kind of the pinnacle of the modern AR-15 that you'll see today. So I wanted to compare and contrast some of the ergonomic issues that you're going to have between these two rifles. So first off, both of these rifles shoot the .223 5.56 caliber ammunition. They both shoot it out of the same PMag, GI mag, Lancer mag, whichever one you want to use. They both take all the same mags and ammunition. The difference being is that these older rifles are a bit longer. The new standby today is a 16 inch to a 14.5 inch, which is pinned, or even an 11.5 inch or 10.5 inch rifle. And you're going to lose a little bit of velocity there. And since the .223 5.56 caliber is kind of velocity dependent for power-wise, you know, damage-wise, what it's going to do to the target when you hit it, the 20 inch barrel is just going to do a little bit more damage, and it's going to do that damage out at a longer distance. There's a bit of misconception there between barrel length and accuracy. Both of these rifles are inherently same accuracy. As a matter of fact, shorter barreled rifles a lot of times are more accurate up to 100 yards than a longer rifle. However, this rifle has killing power far past an 11.5 inch. An 11.5 inch, the tumbling effect that you want to get with an AR-15, the .223 caliber, is effective on an 11.5 inch at about 150 yards. I want to say it's about 250 to 300 yards with a 16 inch barrel, and a 20 inch barrel is going to increase that at least another 100 yards. So you're going to get killing power. Now don't quote me on those, I'm just listing these off the top of my head. The point I'm trying to make is you're going to get almost double the effective range as far as the damage you want to get on target with a 20 inch barreled rifle like this. Now, aside from the barrel lengths, because you can get a modern length rifle with a 20 inch barrel as well, they're just less common. But what I really want to talk about is the ergonomic issues that you're going to have with a rifle like this. And first I want to say that these are coming back in vogue, and that's for good reason, because they're not that much less effective. I want to say that right up front, but they do have a very cool, very unique classical look. These Vietnam era rifles look awesome, and they have a very unique, almost movie-like look to them. Now, that said, there is a lot of updates we've done. Moving back to the sighting system now, you're gonna have a flat rail on a modern rifle to put whatever optic you want. Now I have a Holosun on this, but usually I run an Aimpoint A2 or T2, sorry, and you can put it anywhere on the optic rail that you want, and still have good eye relief, because a red dot doesn't need any eye relief. You can also add a scope. You can put a 1:4, 1:6, which is still a great option for a short barreled rifle, anywhere from 16 all the way to 10.5, because one magnification gives you the same concept as a red dot, but you just add a little bit more weight to add a little bit more magnification on your optic. It also allows you to add tons of accessories, which is going to be the big difference in my opinion between a rifle like this and a rifle like this. So if you want to use it for a home defense rifle, let's say, you're going to want to add a white light. And honestly, it's so much easier to add it on one of these, either a quad rail, an M-LOK rail, a KeyMod rail. Makes very little difference except for the weight. This particular rifle altogether is extremely lightweight, by the way. We'll get into that in a second, due to modern machining practices and modern materials. But the light placement on the light is perfect. It's exactly where I want it, so I can use it all the time while still shooting. My grip is not compromised at all, and you can shoot very quickly while still using the white light whenever you want. Also, this doesn't come without iron sights, even though it has a flat top rail. You can still add flip up iron sights, so you can still have that backup sighting system. Now that's a big advantage having a red dot. It's not as big as a lot of people claim that it is. You're not gonna be that much faster up close, even though it is a little bit faster up close. What you're really gonna get is an advantage in low light or no light, because this optic is always gonna be illuminated. It's gonna be easy to see. It's gonna be easy to see when using a light, and there's just a lot of advantages to it. Aside from the fact that you have low light, you also have just a one point of aim, right? So when you stress out and you go into threat focus, where you tense all up and you tunnel vision and all that stuff, you're still able to superimpose the red dot on the target. So you're looking at the target and you put the red dot on it, whereas you don't have to try and focus on the iron sight like you would for a rifle. You also don't have to line up the iron sight in the ghost ring. The red dot is always going to be there, one point of aim, and it's going to go where you zeroed it. So that's a pretty nice concept. Again, this one's on a QD mount because this one's a super souped up AR-15. You can add vertical grips, you can add angle grips, you can pretty much customize this any way that you want to be comfortable for any particular size of shooter. This rifle here, this fits me really well, but it doesn't fit my wife, who's 5'2", very well, because it doesn't have a collapsible stock like the new modern rifles do, and it doesn't have a vertical grip, which she happens to like. You can't add that on here. And if you want to add a light, you have to tape a mag light to it. If you want to add an optic, good luck with that. This receiver doesn't have an option to add an optic. You can add one over the carry handle, which people will say will work. However, you're going to have more of a chin weld than an actual cheek weld, and it's going to make you a little less accurate, and it's going to make you a little less efficient, because you're going to have that chin weld and it's not going to feel as good, so you're going to be slower as well. Beyond that, honestly, everything about this rifle is pretty much the same. Now this comes with the old style grip. However, you can change this out fairly easily. You can also change out the trigger fairly easily. This trigger has a standard stock rack grade trigger. If I turn off the safety, it'll work. Whereas this particular modern rifle has a drop-in two-stage Geissele trigger, which has a little bit more take-up because it's two-stage, but it's a lot softer and a lot lighter, so it makes you a little bit more accurate. Overall, I'm actually a lot more accurate with this smaller rifle than I am with this particular rifle. Now, one thing I want to talk about as far as this one goes real quick before we end this is I want to talk about the fact that this is a 20-inch rifle, and what that does for you is it gives you a rifle-length gas system in it. So the rifle is inherently a little bit softer shooting than a shorter rifle. However, the shorter rifles nowadays a lot of times come with adjustable gas blocks, so that kind of negates that awesome feature. This rifle will shoot just as flat as this one because I can turn down the amount of gas that's required to run the bolt. So now we're going to shoot them a little bit. We're here at about 100 yards, and we're going to shoot this little 11.5 inch SBR here. And now I wanted to say this is around 5.5 pounds fully loaded with all the stuff on it. Because of modern materials, a lot of this is made out of titanium, magnesium. This is a very high-end rifle. Most rifles will still come just billet aluminum, stuff like that. So if you want to go really expensive, you can get a really low weight rifle that still functions really well. Let's see how the accuracy goes. As you can see, a lot of people say that a shorter rifle is not good at distance. Most home defense situations happen within 5 to 7 yards. If you have a really big house, let's say 15 yards, I'm at 100 yards right now, and I'm having absolutely no issues. And as far as ballistically goes, this caliber still performs really well, like I said, out to even 150 yards, 250 yards with a 16-inch barrel, so not a problem there. Now we got the M16 clone out here at 100 yards. We'll see how we do. All right, now one thing I noticed is that this rifle, believe it or not, even without the brake, is a little bit softer shooting. And one of the things that the brake does that most people don't like, and I completely agree, especially if you're in like a team environment, is it has a lot of blast. Whereas a longer rifle further away from your face, without a brake, is gonna have a lot less blast. So some awesome lady like my wife, for example, who's filming this video, doesn't get quite as much blast in her face with a gun like this because of the longer barrel and without the brake. Otherwise, the recoil is very similar. However, this one does it without the brake, so you don't get those disadvantages. The red dot is a big help at distance, and it's a big help with speed. The iron sights are a little bit slower, but with practice, you can be almost as accurate as you could be with something like a red dot. So as far as a home defense situation goes, kind of a wash there. It really depends on what you like. If you want those ergonomic features like a grip and a flashlight, which I would recommend a flashlight, if you have smaller statured people in your house, you might want a collapsible stock. You might want to change the grip angle. As the stock gets shorter, the grip angle on the pistol grip should get a little bit more vertical. So you might want to change that out as well. And you might want to have, as I said, the biggest two advantages to this gun as opposed to this one are going to be the ability to mount a flashlight and an optic. Other than that, both of them work very well, and both of them will work under almost any circumstances you can possibly think of. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.
I was gonna make a joke about the blasting me in the face, but sometimes my dad watches this, so.